Hello again. This is Steve for LessonsOnlineTV. In this video I'm going to talk a bit about loanwords. It wasn't like one of my primary targets, but there has been a question by a person or two, and probably one, on the channel concerning loanwords, and seeing how people, well, a person at least, wants to know something about it. I decided to make a video for it, a small one nonetheless. Well, loanwords in Greek are a complicated subject, at least that's my opinion. There are a lot of loanwords. There are loanwords from Turkish, Albanian, and French mainly. Although these do seem a bit irrelevant, French usually has, well, we have French loanwords for about everything. There are a lot of French loanwords. I cannot even start right now. But Turkish and Albanian, well, I'm not good at history or politics and diplomacy, so I'm not going to comment a lot about that. But our history books say that Greece was like under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, like i.e. Turks, for a long time, about 400 years. So obviously this has influenced the language a lot, and I can recognize and state some Turkish words that we use even today. You can encounter even English words, but these appear, like as time goes on, you find more words like that, mainly because of social networking and social media and stuff like that. Like it's, let's say, common in this time and day to actually hear somebody, like a young person, say, "Θα postaro," I will post, which is like Facebook terminology or something. That happens. It's not exactly as if these words are getting assimilated into the Greek language, but people use them anyway. It's not part of the formal language, while most loanwords that I'm going to say right now can actually be found written formally, maybe not exactly formally, but they are part of the actual Greek language, while postaro is not. Well, I will mainly focus on Turkish loanwords because they are like a lot, but I'm not going to say a lot about them. I will just cite a source and a description, because there are a lot of words and I cannot even try to think of all of them. There are like 200 or more loanwords from Turkish. So I even have a paper here with a few, just to have a few examples to demonstrate. I have here 5 words that are really common. The first one, I will write 4 more words below, just to have them ready for like in a while. These are, as my source says, I'm not sure, like that these are all for real, certainly Turkish words, but after a while as a native, like words that are not Greek just don't exactly sound right. You can understand that something is different about them, and these words actually do ring a bell, like they kind of feel wrong, let's say, symbolically. So papuci is actually shoe. Yeah, and there is like a totally definite Greek word for every one of these, so I can safely assume that they are loan words. Which papuci can also be called ipodima. And I think this breaks down to below dressing, that kind of thing, something you wear below. Kusuri is a flaw, but the word the normal Greek word for that is elatoma. Dasaki zastre, I'm pretty sure about this one being Turkish, but I have to say, do not say this in Turkey. It does not mean what you think it means. It has nothing to do with an ashtray. This is like, in Greek, in normal Greek, you would find a word like this, and it actually exists. But if you actually ask for a stachtolohio in a cafe or something, in some place, a house you visit or something, you're going to get weird looks. You do not really use this word. We should, but we don't. Dzaba is free. And the normal Greek word is dorean, at least. I'm pretty sure it actually is. Karpouzi is watermelon. But it actually has no sense at all. The Greek counterpart actually is pretty similar. If I'm not mistaken, it's oidropepun, and as such, this is an omega, which signifies that this word is male. If I'm wrong, and this noun is neuter, then there should be an omicron right here. Well, now I didn't write these down like randomly. There are a few properties that I want to say. Papuzi. Papuzi means shoe, and it's a word that is really common. You almost never, ever hear υπόδημα. But you can hear it like if you go to a store, you can see like υπόδημα somewhere. You can see it in more formal situations. But in everyday life, you just say papuzi. It's just a shoe. This kind of word that you use all the time and is really common in your everyday life. These words, this kind of word has actually become assimilated fully. It has become fully integrated into Greek. As such, you have the papuzi. This is actually a neuter noun. No, a neuter noun, as I said. You can actually do every kind of declension the exact same way you would with any Greek word. Like, even though it's not exactly the best sounding thing, this is legit, like the paput shoe, of the shoe. This is genitive, and so on, accusative and vocative. And this is assuming that you would ever want to shout at a shoe, but it still exists, doesn't matter. And it goes on in plural as well. Ton papution. Sorry for my bad handwriting. And it goes on and on, it doesn't matter. This kind of word is exactly like it's been fully assimilated into Greek. You can learn it, like know that it is there, and it behaves in a totally Greek manner. I do not know why I wrote these apart, but the same goes for karpouzi. Even you can never ever see dropepon. You will probably never even hear it in your lifetime if you don't look it up. However, karpouzi is the only word you can actually use to get watermelon. Like, you will ask for a karpouzi. That's the way it works usually. To karpouzi, and so on, to karpouzio. This is another sample of a word that has been fully assimilated, blah blah blah, and so on. Now, there is this kind of word, tatasaki. Now, this is 100% certainty, there is 100% certainty that this word is actually Turkish, is of Turkish origin. In this case, not because of that, but in this case, and for this specific word, actually doing the declension doesn't exactly sound right. For example, I could say tu tasakyu or tu tasakiu, I'm not sure, like pick one, I don't know. But it doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right. It feels like you want to cringe, like something is going wrong. And you can go on like that. But usually you avoid genitive because it doesn't exactly sound right. And there is a plural kind of form, tasadya, blah blah blah, and so on. This is just a sample that is like kind of a gray area. You do not really know what to do. There are words like that. There are more words like that, but none that actually come to mind. And the same goes. Oh no, actually the same goes for kusuri. Like, you can say to kusuri. In plural, it's ta kusurya. but του κουσουριού. It sounds like a tongue twister, like it's not exactly Greeky in sound. It's probably correct. If you want to be like totally formally strict, then, well, first off, if you want to be totally, like, completely strict about your Greek, you can always use this word, which you know is not a loan word, and as such you can just use it. However, if you do want to use this, του κουσουριού is probably valid. I cannot promise, but it's probably valid. Well, Turkish loanwords are like that. Most of them have been assimilated. You behave to most of them, to a lot of them, as if they're Greek. Maybe to some, not exactly, but you will find this by using them. There is no strict rule. They are loanwords. It's not exactly part of the Greek language. It has become part, but you cannot make up rules for loanwords. These are like, you get these from experience. However, the main question I got asked on my channel was for teleferik. Now, this one was Turkish. Let's go to French. I cannot even think of Albanian loanwords, so I'm not going to focus so much on that, but I think it doesn't even matter. Like, it's going to be a few words and you can just memorize them and know them by heart. Well, French loanwords. There are a lot of French loanwords about arts, games, gambling, engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, every kind of thing in everyday life. You can always say something like that. In food, like hors d'oeuvre, you can find that, even though it looks really odd, and it has to, because it isn't actually a Greek word. You don't even see a normal suffix here, you don't see anything. This can be kind of a loan word, like it's not exactly a formal Greek word, but you can use it. All of these words, all French words, never have a declension. You never change them, almost never. Like the question was on the channel, why is it teleferik and not to teleferiko or something like that? Well, I can see first off that teleferik on its own is actually teleferik from French, and tele is like the Greek prefix for remote controlling something. Tele generally it shows that something happens from a distance. So, like teleferik, it's like a remote bringer. It's a means of transportation anyway. So I don't know exactly how the word was made up, but that's not the point. This is now considered a French word. Well, yeah, and we use this kind of word in Greek to describe the teleferik. French words never have a declension of any kind. You do not change them back into anything, you take them intact and you use them as they are. Some other common samples are teleferik, as was formally stated, moteur, bougie, abrayage, and so on. French words never change. To teleferik, to teleferik, just it's the same thing. To teleferik, teleferik. You don't change it, even in plural. Ta teleferik. Ton, and so on. That goes for most French words. Now there are some other kind of, I suppose there are other kinds of loan words that just don't come to mind right now. But that's all I can offer you for now. These are the most common cases of loan words, and most of which you're probably not going to encounter anytime soon. Like really basic Greek does not have a lot of these things. Like this is, if I'm not mistaken, candle, and it has to do with spark plugs in the car. And this is like the clutch. in the car. This is a motor. It sounds like it. You can see it. It's exactly the same thing. These are not exactly basic words you're going to say on your first day. You're going to encounter them and through experience learn more about them. So do not focus on these. Just try to get a hold of the more basic things. But for the person who actually asked, and everyone else interested, this is like a general outline of Loanwords. This is not exactly like the scope of this video series. Loanwords are loanwords, and it doesn't have a lot to do with Greek itself. But let's say you actually do encounter loanwords at some point because you actually learn Greek and want to come in Greece and use it and speak the Greeks and so on. These kind of cases are the most commonly found in the Greek language. And I think that's all I have for now. So I will see you in the next video.